Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ye jiva sattika bhava rajasa tamasacchaye mattaye vedidan vitti natvaham teshu mayi. Even those manifestations recognized as according with existence, sattvic, and active or dominant, rajasi, and dark or inert, know them even to be my own. I am not in them, but they are in me. In this verse, there is a link between the absolute and the relative world. The relative world, yesterday it was given as Prakriti, two kinds of Prakriti. One, the physical world, plus the world of consciousness, what may be called the Jada and the Chit. The aggregate of the Jada and Chit Jada. And that which is described as Brahman is to be related. At the level of the individual, what he experiences. At the level of a cosmic mind, what can be said to be? Going beyond any psychological reference, whether it is of microcosm or macrocosm, what can be said? We are having three levels: Brahma, Atma, and Jiva. At the level of Jiva, the individuals are there. Our individual consciousness is of the body, and the bodies will interact with our body. Nobody doubts of his own or her own existence. In the world of transaction, we do not doubt the existence of other bodies and other persons. There's one thing which confronts us is the reality of the existence of this world and our own existence. And that existential aspect, if you underline it, you may call Sat. So at a level where we begin to understand, appreciate what is around us and what we are. We are most impressed by the fact that we exist. What exists is called Satya. And that which has existence is called Sattva. Now, when we go to the next step, that is the phenomenal world, where things are eternally coming into being, existing for a while, dissolving, disappearing, or transforming into something else, which is called Prakriti. And that Prakriti is said to be having three qualities. And those three qualities of Prakriti are also Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The Sattva is a common link between our consciousness of being and also the world of becoming. The becoming also there is Sat. Our sense of being also has Sat. But if we watch what is presented as existence of the external world or our own external means including our own body, external to our mind, although there is no such thing called external to our mind. We notice the fact that form is not retained. Qualities are not retained. Changing qualities and changing forms, so transformations, transmutations, these are happening. So we are impressed by the fact of change, motion, movement. And that is seen more in the world which we confront. Because even when a person is growing from the age of 2 or 3 to 20 or 40, there is a contiguity in his experiencing the I consciousness, and he does not think that there was any break any time. Although when we are in deep sleep, we are cut off from the past. As soon as we wake up, where we left it previously, that is easily taken over, and we do not see any break in us. And thus, the contiguity enables us to think of one existence all the time. But the fact remains that we see changes. So change is predominantly of this phenomenal world, and that is called Rajas. And Rajas has already, no, Prakriti has already existence, we have seen, then Rajas. And even if it has to remain only for 1 second or a few days or some time, there is a stabilization also, an inertial state into which things are kept as they are. We see the same mountains there, same rocks. There's many things which are there which give a continuity to what we have seen yesterday. So everything is not moving. Something is held together. The held together to be what it is, where the retention of the form is there. The retention of the quality is there. That inertial aspect is taken as tamas belonging to the Prakriti. Now these three, in spite of their changes, they belong to an eternal law. Changes come again and again the same way. You are hungry, you take food, then you feel appeased of your hunger. That does not make hunger a transient thing. In all living beings, hunger reoccurs. Every time there is a recurring on hunger, you take food and it satisfies you Thus food becomes a permanent principle, hunger becomes a permanent principle, even though they belong to the category of change. So there is a changeless law of the changing methods, changing ways, changing systems. So you can say that behind these changing things there's a changeless law to which these systems belong. And you cannot say that it is within the change itself, the changelessness is sitting there. It's not sitting there. But you have to understand in principle. I have given here these three triangles. And these triangles are of uneven sizes and different kind of angles, isosceles. And this is a rectangle. And this is scale. ABC, PQR, XYZ, with the different kinds of sides and different kinds of angles. Suppose we say the triangle. Which one of this is the triangle? You can say each one is a triangle. In spite of their variance in sides and angles, the requirement to be a triangle is always there. To be a triangle, there should be three sides. They have all three sides. There should be three angles. They have all three angles. And the sum of the triangle, the sum of the three angles should be 180 degrees. And if you measure it, it will be 180 degrees. So, whatever we speak of the triangle is there. And when did the first triangle come to be? Even if it was never drawn, the triangle was always there. And the possibility of the principle of the triangle was always there. And it will always be in the future also. And these three triangles, they are not ideal triangles. These are only approximations. Approximation of the idea of triangles. And the naming of it is arbitrary. You could name ABC into PQR to make no difference. But once the name is given, that becomes a fixed thing so far as that particular triangle is concerned. Similarly, all individual beings, they are like the archetype. The archetype has no beginning and no end. But the shadow of it, the image of the archetype, it has an emergence in time and it has a disappearance in time. So it manifests, it incarnates, it disintegrates. So those possibilities are there. All these are belonging to the triangle. But you cannot say that this is the triangle or this is the triangle. Similarly, we are all in Brahman, but we cannot say this is Brahman. When we read the works of devotees who have written about their gurus, they always refer to their guru as Paramatman. And he is the beginningless, and he is the endless, and everything converges to him, everything merges in him. If you are referring this to a body, even though that person is the body is of a Mahatma, of a Paramatma, in no way it makes any difference between the Mahatma and an ordinary person. What is ordinary there? Body is everybody's the same thing. If it's a matter of understanding only if that person also transcendently understands the eternal principle. That principle, you can say, is conforming to the requirement of the Absolute. But the manifestation is as fickle as of any other person. And this secret many do not know. In our bhakti, in our devotion, we want to put the Guru or whom we love, we adore, at the same place of the Absolute. But if the Rajas and the Tamas aspect of the Prakriti are also attributed to that at the same time, then it becomes like a manifested triangle and no difference. So there is an implied difficulty there to understand. And he goes on saying, people do not understand the secret of it. Tripir gunamair bhavairepihi sarvamidam jagad mohidam nabhijanadi mamepyaha paramavyayam. Deluded by these three manifestations of value, this whole world is unable to know me, who am beyond them and unexpended. Again, it is the word me here which is confusing. Because when we speak of me, we refer to an embodied person. And here, Krishna also refers to me, and therefore we are comparing a person with another person. And that kind of a comparison is delusive. The delusion is we are attributing the qualities of Prakriti to one which should be known as pure principle. Now when we speak of pure principle, Tattva, Brahman, there is another difficulty creeping in. The difficulty is what will we do with our bhakti. How can you love a pure principle? A principle is a principle. How can you pray to principle? Bhakti is also defined by Narada and Chandilya as Parama Prema Rupa, absolute love. Avichinna Tailadharavat, like the continuous flow of oil. And bhakti we usually understand as an intensified form of love. We have love for our children. Husband loves wife, wife loves husband. Parents love children. Friends love each other. And if they are ordinary love, this is called Parama, an absolute form of love. Even when we say absolute love, we only see a quantitative exaggeration of sentiments as love. To correct this, Shankara says, Swarupa Anusandhanam Bhakti. When you think of your form as this body, that is corrected. So this body aspect of it is only a very superficial aspect of us. So this is not our true form. So we are told, first the Guru says, Tat Tamasi. And the disciple start meditating on that. And what is that? That is given as Prajnanam Brahma. If you open your eyes and you are seeing this world, whatever is presented in the form of consciousness, which is Prajna, that is absolute. Prajnanam Brahma. So I should have a scheme by which everything that is illuminated is then taken as Prajna, and to efface the difference between my body, which is physically distinct from other bodies. Here I see my body also as my Prajna, other bodies also as Prajna, and then the whole Prajna is taken as Brahman. And that covers my transactional world. And I turn inward, then I am asked to meditate on I am Atma Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma is one Manana Vakya, that is a dictum to be meditated on. I am Atma Brahma is another dictum to be meditated on. So these are called Manana Vakya. An Upadesha Vakya is what the Guru has given as Tattvamasi. And to implement that, to meditate on that, we are having this. What is this for? Then you will know that which the Guru referred to as you means I. So I had to come to an anubhava, aham brahmasmi. So if the aham is not deham, not body, but absolute, then I had to again and again bring my mind from the persisting body conditioning into an active relationship with both the holistic consciousness and the self-awareness which pervades from my central focus of consciousness to an unlimited horizon. And thus, what is experienced as the exterior consciousness and what is experienced as the interior consciousness become one whole and nothing is left outside. And that is called as my Swarupa. And the Swarupa is described as Satchidananda. So if I have only an awareness of consciousness, I am not experiencing Ananda. I am experiencing only the Chidvilasa, Chinmatra, Chidrupam. If I am only impressed by an external and an internal existence, my Anubhava contains only the Sadrupa. Physicists, modern physicists, they know that After all, the whole thing is reducible to one energy. There is no difference between mind and body and all that. But do they become by that realized persons? They do not. They should have. They have also an Advaita Buddhi, that is called a Jadadvaita Buddhi. About matter they have a Buddhi of Advaita. But if they feel from within that everything is one consciousness, then also, as there is no Ananda included in it, it's only a partial experience. But here, Satchidananda, Sanmatram, Chinmatram and Ananda Matram. Satkhanam, Chitkhanam, Anandakhanam. Sadrupam, Chitrupam, Anandarupam. Of this, the Ananda aspect is an affective state. The dimension that it gives to awareness and existence has a wholesomeness about it. What we call in the individual case priyam, or the ordinary tendency to like or dislike, is a fragmentary experience of Ananda. So wherever there is Ananda, there is a Priyam. Priyam in its positive aspect, say affectivity, can be both love as well as hatred, happiness as well as pain. When it is positive, you experience it as a state of harmony, devoid of conflict, devoid of friction, devoid of the contention between opposite forces. So only when that priyam becomes fully established, where you, as your individual consciousness, is in total harmony with the two entities we meditated upon, such as Prajnanam and Atman. So whatever constitutes the external world, that is in full harmony with you. What is constituted as internal consciousness, that is also in full harmony with you. When this total harmony is established, you do not see any limit to you. You become limitless, and this is therefore described as one of immense bliss. So a meditation unaccompanied by bliss or not culminating in bliss is lacking. And it's not just a pleasurable feeling, but a total bliss, a total beatitude, a total oneness. And then alone you can say, you have now come to the Swarupa Siddhi. I have known my Swarupa. This is what Shankara calls Swarupa Anusandhanam. And that he defines as bhakti. He calls this is bhakti. Narayana Guru also says, so Atmana Anusandhanam bhakti. Bhakti is Atma Anusandhanam. And how do you make Atma Anusandhanam of bhakti? He says, Bharya bhajati parparam. A wife loves a husband. And in that love, she feels a non-duality with her husband. And Shankara gives a list of so many such relations where the loving pairs becomes counterparts of one single system. And what enables them to love like that? And Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Priyam. It is the karma for the Priyam or the Atman. Karma of the bliss of the self. Desire for the bliss of the self. That makes a woman loves her husband. A husband loves a woman or her wife. So it's not for the sake of the wife, husband loves the wife, but for the sake of the love of the bliss of the self. And this is also vice versa. Thus, Priyam is the most important thing here. Priyam of the self. So bhakti, the meditation on meditation which is bhakti, is thus a visualization of that which fulfills you with a sense of contentment, a sense of bliss. And where that is happening as an existential factor, and you are fully aware of that, then you call that Atman. So meditation on the self or the Atman is meditation on Ananda. And when Ananda is understood as Atman, that Atman derives its existence from a totality of truth. That's called Brahman. So there cannot be difference between Brahman, Atman and Ananda. So you are meditating on Ananda, means that you are meditating on self, that you are meditating on the Absolute. But people are deluded because they are impressed by the changing world with its triple qualities. Deluded by these three manifestations of value, this whole world is unable to know me, who am beyond them and unexpended. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva ye Pravadyande Maya Medam Tarantide. Verily, this divine illusion of mine, Maya, made up of the manifestations of value, guna, is hard to surmount. Those who seek me alone pass over this illusion. So this is called here Devi. Devi is, we have two qualities in us. Here we have eyes. And with this eyes, you can use the eye as an instrument to observe keenly things of great value in our studies, in our meditation. You can use these instruments with great purpose. There, all these instruments, both the senses and the mind, are obedient servants. And you are a perfect master, and you have no conflict with your senses or the mind. And whenever you want to employ, they are ready. But they do not lead you to anything without your full sense of commitment. You are not trapped, you are not ensnared by them. When the senses and the mind of that nature, it is called Devi. On the other hand, when like obsession, compulsion, the senses and the mind are dragging you, then it is called Asuri. Here, the Supreme is not deluded. The Supreme can create all these manifestations, and that the divine is not affected, and therefore it is called the Maya, which is Devi, and it's a divine Maya. And how do you understand it? By knowing the divine. Namam dutkridino mudhaha prabhadyante naradhama maya bahrdajnana asuram bhavamashridaha. The opposite is given in this verse. Not mean evildoers, foolish, attain lowest among men, their wisdom being distracted by illusion, Maya, affiliated as they are to the demonic or non-intelligent aspect of nature. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukridino arjuna arto jitnyasurartharthi jnanija paradarshapha. Here a picture is shown of a person who is feeling sad and he has become an artha. Another person is shown as one who is studying and trying to understand the Supreme. And another person is worried about the worth, the wealth he has, and he is thinking of more or a better form of wealth or a better form of value. And one person, he is not of those three people. He has turned away. He is looking at pure light and he is content with that. They are called Artha, Jitnyasu, Artharthi and Jnani. So this verse is brought here because it was preceded and it is going to be followed also by verses which are given for a correction of the attitude of people towards the Absolute. But that can have one damaging effect on mind, that it may take away from you the sense of blessedness, the sense of grace. In religious life, a very important thing to believe that there is grace. There is divine grace. You, an individual, helpless, when you pray, there is a God who listens to you. A God who is interested in your welfare. And with His grace, everything happens. Without His grace, nothing happens. And if that is taken away from our life, life becomes very insipid. Even non-theistic religions, such as communism, for instance, is a non-theistic religion. They may say it is not a religion, but it is a religion. They ask people to sacrifice. What for? So if you sacrifice, the state will protect you. The state will be beneficial. So where we put God, they put state. And everybody is made to think of the state as a very benevolent being. That is a hypostatic idea. You are deifying an idea and you are expecting from that everything which you expect from God. So in theistic religions it's very natural that we think of divine grace, and that is also to be fitted into this. And if you have an idea of the absolute where there is no grace, then what is all this? It can all be reduced only to one thing, and that thing is nothing which you experience. And if it is not anything which you experience, then you do not know that. And when you do not know that, you can only say Sarvam Shunyam. But the idea of Sarvam Shunyam truncates life. I had a friend, a German friend, who adopted Buddhism as his religion. So he was always meditating on Shunyata. The result was he came to an absolute negativity. Nothing was of any value to him. Friends are of no value. Beauty is of no value. Music is of no value. Nothing is of any value. In Sri Lanka even now, the Sinhalese have not taken to music because they are taught that music is opposed to the highest truth. So you should not listen to the senses. And they have, so Indian music became very popular in Sri Lanka. That's the list of people here. So this has a corroding negative effect. So afterwards I told this friend, see, even when you reduce everything to nothingness, you see nothingness is. So there is an ease aspect, the final affirmation. When you turn to the affirmation, then you start affirming many things in this world. You can see that ease is in everything that exists. So we have two methods in Indian Vedanta philosophy. One is called the Sat-Prapancha Ganana and the other called the Nishprapancha. Sat-Prapancha is you going on affirming that this is also the absolute. This is also the absolute. Tattvamasi is one such. The other is Nishprapancha. Is go on saying neti, neti. But there is a secret in it. Not one single neti. Say neti, neti. You have to say neti twice. And when you say neti twice, By double negation, you'll come to an affirmation. And that affirmation is not just by saying neti. And in the present one, artha, we usually take it as a person who is physically miserable or mentally miserable. In present days, a person physically miserable, he will be taken to a hospital, and he is mentally miserable, he will be taken to a mental hospital, a psychiatric ward. But we have to think of this artha as something more than that. There are periods in the life of people, even people like Buddha, who are tormented by the pains of this world. And we should think of them as arthas. So artha is not to be taken in a small sense, but in a very big sense. That is within you. There is within you like a vacuum, a hunger, something to be fulfilled. Then you say you are an artha. And its counterpart is the realization or actualization that has to come. I think of my friends as arthas, because they still did not find out what they wanted. They know that to get something, on getting it, their life will be fulfilled. And that present position is of artha. What is that? And a young man may think maybe it's a wife, maybe it's a job, maybe it is security. When I get that, my arti will be over. But when the arti is big, as in the case of Buddha or Jesus or people like that, it's a big arti. The bigger the need, the greater the fulfillment. If you are a small arti, lukewarm, you get only a lukewarm satisfaction also. And when you have an arti, you become a jitnyasu. Jitnyasu means to look for the means by which you can find this. Who will teach me? Who will give me that way? Where is that doctor who can treat me? You are not looking for an ordinary doctor. Buddha himself is called the physician of the physicians. Jesus is also called the physician of the physicians, the healer of the healer. And looking for that way, when you find it, you say, I found it. But still you find it, you are looking for it. You may look in the books. You may sit at the feet of a teacher and listen. A jitnyasu. And the third is, you got something, but you find that it is lacking. In the life of Lord Buddha, he sat with different gurus. And one guru taught him to a certain stage and said, Gautama, I taught you all that I knew, beyond which I do not know anything. Gautama in that case is an artharthi. He says, the meaning of life which you have given me is not fulfilling. I want to know more. And he went to the next guru. And the next guru also after some time said, this is the meaning that I can give you, beyond which I do not know. In the Upanishad you will always see A certain question is asked to someone, and then that man says, "My teacher didn't teach me this. You please teach me." And sometimes father and son, they both discuss and then they decide they both do not know. So they will go to another country where there is a great guru and they will find out from him. So here they are like ardharthis. Ardha in Sanskrit means not only wealth but also meaning. Meaning of life. What is meaning? Meaning is that which fulfills you. Ardha is not just an instrument. It's called, wealthy man is called dhanavan. That which makes you dhanya, where there is contentment. And that dhanyada, to get it, you want to be fulfilled. And only through realization you get real fulfillment. And then you become a jnani. Thus, these 4 stages are taking you step by step to the absolute. The jnani here is like the turiyam, the 4th one. And the 4th one is identified with this Supreme, the Atman. And in these aspirations of all the 3 people, there is a grace favoring them step by step. Again in the Bhagavad Gita it will say Daivam Chatra Panchamam. That is, even when everything is right, still it may not work, because there has to be the 5th unknown, that is grace of God. So it said Daivam Chatra Panchamam. A man may be a great scholar, but he should have the humility to know that he does not know, and everything is done for him. Thus there comes a great ashraya in him. Everything is done for me, and he feels with gratitude. It is that gratitude which gives him faith and strength. Without faith, there is no strength. And that faith stands him in good stead always. Even though he is at the brink of fall, something in him will tell you, hold fast, I will save you. It's only natural that benevolence or that kripa is sometimes personified. Because for most people, without personifying, they cannot understand it. Just as we cannot think without using words. To think, we need words. Using words means we are using symbols. And so, you can either have a verbal symbol or you can have a formal symbol. Formal symbol, then it becomes a Krishna, a Devi, a Shiva, or Jehovah, or Allah. You conceptualize and the concept is put there, and you minimize yourself and you relate yourself to what you have maximized. And then there is a rapport established, and you are in a state of bhakti. This is normal. We think not only with scientific mind, we also think with poetic mind. Poetry is as fulfilling as science. Probably if they are complementary. Halfway we go with science, and the other halfway we go with poetry. If I am asked to choose between a poet and a scientist, I will give up the choice because I don't want to choose. It's impossible to choose. They are both equally necessary. There should be a Descartes and there should be a Tagore. And put them together, you get a more idea. So thus, grace is underlined here. Tesham jnani nityayukta ega bhaktir vishishyade priyo hi jnaninotyartha aham sacha mama priyaha. Of this, the wise man, forever united and unitively affiliated with the Absolute excels. For dear to the utmost limit am I to the wise, and he is dear to me. And here the bond of union between the Absolute and the Jnani is that it's dear, priyam. Priyada is the asti phati priyam I said earlier. The idea of priyam, the idea of ananda, the idea of bliss, that confirms it. Udaraha sarva evaide jnani tvatmaiva me madam astidaha sahayuktatma mamevanuttamang. Honorable are all these, but my firm opinion is that the wise one is the self itself. He of unitively established self indeed remains in my path, which has nothing higher. The word udara here is to be understood as of a very high nature. These four types which are given here, they are all of a very high nature, because one is leading to the other. If a person is always in a hedonistic mode and he is pleasure seeking, then he has no jnana. The Buddha had everything which a person could think of, and yet he was not happy. That arti makes him an udara. There is a noble wretchedness in him, which makes life worthwhile only by pursuing the higher path. So it is said here, udara. Bhunam janmanam ande jnanavan mam prapadyade vasudevah sarvamidi samahatma sudullabha. After many births, the wise man attains me, such a great self, thinking Vasudeva to be all, is rare indeed to find. The word Vasudeva has many meanings, but one meaning is that divine which dwells everywhere, same as when you say Narayana. In all beings, the same divine is throbbing, and when once you see it, then you are seeing your own self as the self of all. And when do we get to such an experience? We say Bhunam Janmanam Ande, at the end of several births. It's a process of purification. It's a process of perfection that is going on. And we are all going in the same direction. one reach earlier than the other, according to what perceptiveness, sensibility, insight he has developed. कामैस्तैस्ते हृदज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियताः स्वयम्. So these four people, Artha, Jitnyasu, Artharthi, Jnani, when the first thing, the Arthi comes, your Jitnyasa can turn you to something cheap or superficial. That is here described as other Devata. A man is afraid, so he picks up a knife and he thinks with this knife I will protect myself. So he puts his trust in that Devata. If somebody comes, I will take the knife. And somebody thinks that it should be something more than a knife. I should have some sort of a village god or goddess who has great powers. So I will say certain mantra so that I can elicit power from that particular spirit, and that spirit will guard me. So he is looking for some powerful instrument, which is here in the form of a spirit. We have Sattva, Rajas and the Tamas, and from that you can take any model. If you are Tamas dominated, you pick up a model which suits you. If it is a Rajas one, you pick up that. And whatever picks, it will have some benefit. A good story is given of Milarepa. Milarepa's uncle was very bad to him and he was ill-treating him. So his mother said, Milarepa, go and learn some black magic so that we can protect ourselves from our evil uncle. And he went and learned black magic. And then he found that the black magic which he learned was not very potential. So he went back and he gave his dire case how much he needed a really devastating black power. And he was given that power. He could bring hailstorms, he could bring fire, he could destroy people. So he came and destroyed all the family members and friends of his uncle, except his uncle and aunt. Then people who died there, they all rose against him. Previously he had only his uncle as an enemy, now the entire village became his enemies. So he has to use another black power to kill all the villagers. And then all the surrounding villagers hated him and they were all hunting him. So he had to go for more power to kill all the other villagers also. Then he went to his mother and said, Mother, we are accumulating sin after sin by killing all these people. Now will you share with me all these sins? He said, how can I share this with you? Your karma will go with you. So he decided that this is not the right way. He should go to the real truth, and in one lifetime he should find his own release. There's a very beautiful story of Milarepa, how he turns away from the black forces and to the right guru, to Marpa, and then to learn the highest wisdom. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchidumicchati tasya tasya jalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. By whichever particular form such and such a devotee with faith wishes to worship, each of his own faith, I confirm. There are so many ways in our. There is a Catholic faith, that is the Hindu Agnihotra faith, there is putting your trust in the revelation. There are so many faiths. And you are making one approach. And here the assurance is whatever approach you make, you are met in the same way. You cannot say mine is the only path. I have the true religion and this is the only true religion. You can say this is the true religion for me. That can be fine. Because then you are not distracted, you remain there with your faith, with great earnestness, you can pray. But the truth is, every religion is good as the other religion. The essence of all religions are the same. Sayada Shraddhaya Yuktastasya Aradhanamihade Labhade Jadadakaman Mayaiva Vihidan Hidan. He, endowed with that faith, seeks the worship of such a one, and from him obtains his desires, the benefits being decreed by me. But the principle that is operating everywhere is the same. Whatever name you give, whatever way you approach. So you should think that it's all going from one source. So one light is given there, so one source. And then there are several lights which are going from the same light. Andavatva phalam tesham tattvavatyarpamedhasam devan devayajo yanti matbhakta yanti mamapi. Terminable indeed is the benefit accruing to these of small intelligence. Sacrifices to the divinities go to the divinities, but my devotees come to me. So it all depends on what you see and how you see. If you are seeking only little meanings, you get little meaning. If you look for the final meaning, you get the final meaning. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavamajanando mamavyayamanutamam. Unreasoning person, consider me as the unmanifest come to manifestation, not knowing my supreme value unexpended, with no superior. And these verses have led to a lot of wrangle where God has a form or has no form. In Chaivite philosophy they say, having no form, is it a great thing? There are so many things which have no form. So, what does it matter if you finally establish God has no form? That does not prove anything. So, form or formlessness should not be anything for a fight. But think of the manifested as the only reality. Or unless you see it in a certain way, it's not there. Then you are limiting yourself. What is known is only little. What is not known is much. So you should always have a room for expansion. You should have an open mind. Whatever you have seen is fine, good, but go beyond. There is an old saying that you should not die in the church where you are born. You are born in a certain church, fine, but move still further. There are many more churches to be seen. There are many more things to be known. So do not limit yourself. Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavradaha mudhoyam nabhijanadi logo mamajamavyam. I am not revealed brightly to all, shrouded as I am by the elusive effect of negative reality, yogamaya. This deluded world does not know me, unborn, unextended. Then we have fixed notions, and within that fixed notion we say this is religiousness, and this is marketplace. And so within that for 1 hour you do a certain kind of a ritual, then you think you have done, and this is it. I recently wrote a short story which unfortunately was not received very well by people. I gave this as the heading, Modhoyam Napi Janadi. Because it can be a little offensive to many devotees. The story is like this. That there was a Krishna statue where some devotees, they were all sitting there, and one man was giving the lead on bhajan, Hare Krishna, and all people were singing with their great fervor. And when it was going on, one child which was in that group called the mother and said, "Ma, look at that." And Ma asked, "What's it?" "Krishna is winking at me. He's closing his eye, winking at me." And she looked, and it was right. It was only a statue, but now the statue is winking the eye. And when she looked at it with great wonder, Krishna came out of the pedestal and came to these people who were singing. He said, "What do you want? You have been calling me for a long time. I am here now. What do you want?" And when they saw this, they didn't want to believe. They were all saying, "Krishna, come, Krishna, come." But when he actually suddenly manifested, "Hey, what do you want?" One of them said, "Who are you?" "You have been calling me, and I have come." And these people became very angry, annoyed. He said, you are not our Lord. Our Lord will not come out. If you pray to our God, He will always remain there. He will never come out. That now you have come out, therefore you cannot be our God. Then He said, you have been calling and calling endlessly, that is why I came. Then he said, if you are Krishna, show us a miracle. So he became a little annoyed. You want a miracle? I am here standing before you. Is that not enough for you to believe in me? This is not show us a miracle. What miracle do you want? Change this stone into gold. She said, oh, that's what you want. And this convinces you. And just Krishna touched it and it became gold. Then everybody ran and picked up the biggest stone and bigger stone, and all came and said, Lord, touch this, Lord, touch this. So Krishna became very angry that these people are so worthless. And every day they were praying, he thought there was some good in them. And they wanted to bless them, but they all want stones to be converted into gold. Then Krishna said, you are worthless people. Then one fellow said, Lord, leave these fellows, come with me, we go home. Because he wanted some bigger stones to be changed into gold. And at that stage, everybody said, look, she is a real miscreant. She is a hypocrite. And they wanted to pounce upon him and beat upon him. And then Krishna changed back into the old form of the stone. And then they all became very devotional because they got back the original to which they are used. So people have some modes. And out of that mode, if you go a little, and then they lose everything. They cannot conform to that. So only in that particular form in which they are, it's imprinted in their mind, they can understand it. Now when I was in Arabia, 4 times on the television there comes a lecture by a mullah to tell people how this Hindu religion is so wrong, how it is a religion of idolatry, and what will happen to the idolaters. 4 times this should be given every day, so that people may, he gives a model of what true Islam is. And if you don't conform to that, to what perdition you may go. Thus everywhere there are idols to worship. This man who is against idolatry, he is giving the worst kind of idolatry. And Bacon calls any idea an idol when you do not know what it is, and it becomes a fixed form, and you cannot go beyond it, and you stand there completely bewildered. So that is discouraged here. Vedaham samadidani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani ja bhutani mam tu vedana kachana. I know the beings that are past, present and to come, O Arjuna, but no one knows me. Here and this concept of how from the seed, how it goes into flowering and fruition, and then once again it falls and it seeds. It goes on continuously as a process, like the eternal triangle of which I spoke. Nobody sees that truth, but the law, which is always evolving into this, definitely knows when exactly it should function in a certain way. Season after season comes cyclically, and in each season, as an exact time, the tree remembers to shed its leaves, then to go leafless, again to spring back with flowers, and then to bring the fruit. and there is no end to it. And it is so here, it is so elsewhere, not only on our earth. The entire universe has this kind of a one steady law operating, as if the Supreme is ever present, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. So these words which we give, the qualifications which we give to the Absolute, is no exaggeration. इच्छाद्वेषसमुद्धेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. From the delusion of the pairs of opposites arising from attraction and repulsion, O Bharata, Arjuna, all beings on being created are subject to confusion of values, O burner of the false. Yesham dandagadam pavam jananam punyakarmanam tve dandamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavradaha. But those persons of pure deeds, whose sin has come to an end, freed from the conflict of pairs of opposites, adore me with a firm resolve. See, the reference to Papa is here, and when their Papa is gone, Papa, I've been also explaining it later, where our vision becomes narrow, where it is body-centered, ego-centered, then you call it Papa, and where it is altruistic, where it is for all, where our ego boundary is effaced and the self is seen as self of all. And when it comes to they, then you are freed of all the mohas, moha nirmukta, and bhajante mam dridhavradaha. It is as if they have an eternal vow, a great pledge to continuously meditate on. Bhaj means to be always conscious of, to be that as the only reality which is in your mind. And then you insist on not leaving that dharana, so the retention of that same consciousness always, then you can say, bhajante mam dridhavradaha jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yadanti ye te brahma dadvidu krishna madhyatmam karma chakilam. Who are resorting to me strive for liberation from decay and death. They know that Absolute, all that constitutes self-knowledge, and everything pertaining to ritualistic action. So here the word Jara and Marana, some people have taken it very literally, and then they think that there is a possibility to escape old age and death. And so an attempt to perpetuate this body. In Sri Aurobindo Ashram there was a belief for a long time that Sri Aurobindo's body will never decay. He won't have Jara or Nara. Of course, Nara he had, his hair was gone grey. But even then there was much belief that he won't die. And in his own theory of the supramental descent, it was such a version was given that it will divinize every cell in him, that the cell will be immortalized. So all the cells are immortalized. The body will remain without any kind of a decay. And so when she passed away, first people couldn't accept that he passed away. And then his body was kept there, and after 3 days the French government wanted it to be buried. And then there are conflicting reports of doctors that it retained its freshness even after 3 days, and therefore the claim that the cells were immortalized was true, and then others say it was not so. In any case, a number of people still believe that it is possible to have Jara and Marana put to an end. There is a school which has its base in Madras called the Siddha Sangha. They also believe that these words means you can literally get over Jara and Marana. But with the world which we have been seeing before us, as one of the mortals or Chiranjeevis did not come on our way, we still have no proof. Maybe somewhere there are Chiranjeevis, we don't know. Sadhibhudadhidaivam mam sadhiyajnam chaye viduhu Prayana-kale vijamam te viduryukta chedasaha. Those who know me, taking together what refers to existential adhibhuda, hypostatic adhideva, and sacrificial adhiyajna aspects, they know me in a unity of spirit, even at the time of their departure. So, from the verse 30th, it is evident that there is a departure. And if that departure is Marana, it is there for everyone. But you can be free of the fear of death. And death can cease to be a problem to you. You can escape death in the sense that you can escape the fear of death. Not that the body will not die, but death is no more a problem to you. And when if it is not a problem, then that is not to be resolved. If you live only for 10 days, fine. And if you are happy with those 10 days. I read a poem on death. It's very telling. And it says what is death, so far as we are concerned. There is a sudden dropping, and then everything is stopped, ceased. Everything is except you there. And then you say, oh, I will face my death courageously, I will face my death fearfully. What difference it makes for facing it, because you are no more there. It's sudden, finished. Absolute silence is there meeting you from the other side. No more contract for you. No more responsibility. That's it. And if you think of that no philosophy can help you there, no religion can help, you cannot know anything about that in the future, where it is going, what happened, what death is. But none of these problems are relevant. The beauty is to the dead man, none of these problems are relevant. So why bother? And we don't want to live that way. There's some choice. There's no choice. The truth is there is no choice. But here one thing is that before death, at the time of death, if one can remember something more than this body, something more than this setup, At least there is a grace in that, there is a beauty in it. It's more like a merger. As Buddha says, of the dewdrop merging with the ocean. But not after death, before death, just before death. Just before death, your consciousness had this wonderful effect of the dewdrop merging with the ocean. And that's worthwhile to have that feeling instead of lamenting, crying, and shrieking and dying. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasya